Welcome to another video. In this video, we are going to understand the percussion of heart and its significance. Let us first understand what is precordium. Now, precordium is the part of the anterior chest wall overlying the heart. It is also important to understand what is apical impulse. Now, apical impulse is the outermost and the lowermost point of maximal cardiac impulse. The first objective while percussing the precordium is to demonstrate the superficial cardiac dullness. Here, we lightly percuss in the third, fourth, and fifth intercostal space to elicit a dull note. The significance of this step is, in case we find a resonant note in this area, it may signify a unilateral massive pneumothorax, or in rare cases, dextrocardia. A hyperresonant note bilaterally may indicate chronic obstructive airway disease like emphysema. Surprisingly, in an old study, the percussion for cardiomegaly was found to be more specific than radiographic cardiomegaly to rule out increased left ventricular end diastolic volume or increased left ventricular mass. According to it, a dullness distance of less than 10.5 centimeters from the mid-sternal line in 5th and 6th intercostal space reliably excluded increased left ventricular end diastolic volume and increased left ventricular mass. This test had a sensitivity of 90% and specificity of 30%. Next, we move to percussion of the borders of the heart. To begin with, we will first mark the point of maximal impulse on the precordium, that is the apical impulse. In this case, it is found in the 5th intercostal space slightly medial to the mid-clavicular line. Next, in the same intercostal space, we start percussing from the mid-axillary line medially towards the sternum and mark the point where the resonant note turns into a dull note. The orientation of the pleximeter should be in such a way that it is parallel to the apparent left border of heart. In the 5th intercostal space, the dullness is found here. Let's move in one intercostal space above and do the same thing. Now in the 3rd intercostal space. Based on the markings, this is the left border of heart. The significance of this step is that when the lower part of the left border of heart does not correspond with the apex, it may suggest a large pericardial effusion or left ventricular enlargement or even an aneurysm. A steep left heart border, that is when the upper part of the left border is away from the sternum, it may suggest dilatation of the pulmonary outflow tract, lung tumors which are contiguous with the left heart border, or even aneurysm of aorta. Next, we percuss for the right border of heart. Here, we percuss from above downwards in the mid-clavicular line up to the liver dullness is found. In this case, the liver dullness is found in the 5th intercostal space in the mid-clavicular line. Next, we start percussing one space above the liver dullness from the right mid-clavicular line towards the sternum, keeping the pleximeter parallel to the sternal edge. We repeat this process in 2 or more intercostal spaces above. Normally, the right cardiac dullness corresponds with the right sternal margins. A right cardiac dullness outside the sternal edge suggests pericardial effusion, dextrocardia, right atrial enlargement, mediastinal mass, or a left lung pathology like consolidation or massive effusion. A shift of cardiac borders to the right may suggest shifting mediastinum due to right-sided atelectasis. Next, we percuss for the base of heart. In this, we percuss in the second intercostal space. Side. Percussion in the second intercostal space begins in the mid-sternal line and moves laterally. In this case, normally we expect a resonant note. A dullness noted in the aortic area, that is the second intercostal space on the right side, signifies a dilated aorta, aortic aneurysm, or superficial mediastinal mass. A dullness in the pulmonary area, that is the second intercostal space on the left side, signifies dilated pulmonary artery hypertension, or even patent ductus arteriosus. Now let us move on to some other methods or percussion signs in CVS examination. Ewart in 1896 demonstrated 12 different signs of pericardial effusion. The first among them is the posterior pericardial patch of dullness. In case of pericardial effusion, if we percuss in the intercostal space just below the inferior angle of scapula, we may find dull note. This is called as Ewart sign of pericardial effusion. The area of dullness in this small patch below the inferior angle of scapula is most likely due to compression of the adjacent lung parenchyma due to pericardial effusion. To elaborate on this finding, when we auscultate this patch of dullness, we may find some useful signs. मोटा श्वास घ्या, सोडा, घ्या, सोडा, आता ए म्हणा. When we auscultate this patch of dullness, we will find tubular breathing and we can even demonstrate agophony. Altogether, this is called as Bamberger-Pinn-Ewart sign. Moving on to the next sign, if we percuss in the 5th and 6th intercartilaginous space just outside the right sternal border, in cases of massive pericardial effusion, we may find a dull note. This dullness in the 5th and 6th intercartilaginous space in massive pericardial effusion is most likely due to obliteration of the cardiohepatic angle. This sign is called as Roth sign. Direct sternal percussion produces a dull note. When this dull note is altered, it may be called as a flat note. When this flat note begins 3 cm above the xiphoid, it is most likely due to right ventricular enlargement. When the flat note extends much higher, it is more likely due to pericardial effusion rather than right ventricular enlargement. Expanding on percussion around sternum, let us first percuss from manubrium to the third costal cartilage. If we find a dullness from the manubrium to the third costal cartilage, it may imply an aneurysm of arch of aorta. This particular sign is called as Potaine's sign. To summarize, percussion in CVS examination includes percussion for superficial cardiac dullness and percussion of the heart border, specifically the left border, the right border, and percussion in the aortic and pulmonary area. Besides this, in particular diseases, we may find additional signs like Ewart sign, Roth sign, and Potaine's sign.